computer. I'm recording this computer. Hello. Right. So before we get into what I've prepared tonight, I have prepared. I just want to tell you, I got a phone call earlier from a very old friend of mine who's a rabbi, and he's struggling. He's struggling. It's very strange. He's a rabbi who's struggling. He's struggling with the whole hashkafa thing. He's also struggling with the simple, practical, how do I get by, my income and all that sort of stuff. Like so many of us are struggling because a lot of people's, their jobs have disappeared, have imploded. So what do we do in these circumstances? So let me tell you something I saw in the Al-Sheikh. And the Al-Sheikh HaKadosh says something which is, I think, is very important. In Pirkei Avos it says, Al Shlosha Devarim. The world stands on three things: Torah, Avodah, and Gemilas Chasadim. Now these three things, Torah, Avodah, and Gemilas Chasadim, rings a bell with any Ben or Bas Torah, because Torah is Yaakov, Avodah is Yitzchak, and then Torah, Avodah, and Gemilas Chasadim, Chesed, Gemilas Chasadim, that is obviously Avram Avinu. So that makes sense. The world stands on three things: Torah, Avodah, and Gemilas Chasadim. But it's the wrong way around, because Avram came first, and then Yitzchak, and then Yaakov. So it should say Al Shlosha Devarim Ha'olam Hameid, Al Chesed, Al Gemilas Chasadim, but Avodah, and then Torah, because that would be chronologically correct. So why is it that way? So the Al-Sheikh says something, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but it's one of the big things that in my life that I learned from him and I try and pass on. Even if we fail in Torah, even if we fail in our Avodah, which today is Tefillah, as long as we're still doing Chesed, Gemilas Chasadim, and ultimately that's the Yiddish phrase is the Unterste Shura, the ultimate insurance policy for Klal Yisrael. So that if a person is saying, what could I be doing? And one of my Talmidos asked me not too long ago, I don't know what I feel I'm doing, and I'm sure she is doing everything that they could be doing. So what could I be doing more? We could all be doing Gemilas Chasadim. So when I came across somebody whom I know very well, who seems to be struggling financially, I thought, I know what to do with this. Now, unfortunately, I'm not, I was almost going to get my guitar and burst into song here. If I was a rich man. But if I was a rich man, then I'd know what to do. I would sign a check and solve this problem. For some reason, HaShem has decided that I should not be his Gabbai Tzedakah. But I think I know who to contact, somebody who knows him, somebody who respects him. And if I just give a little wink in his direction that this person I know about is struggling, I kind of suspect that might just get him out of the mess. At this time, if the Unterste Shura, if the bottom line of Klal Yisrael is Chesed, which the Al-Sheikh says, and that's what it seems to be the implication of Pirkei Avos, brilliantly observed by the Al-Sheikh, then it's pretty obvious that there's a wonderful opportunity for all of us to say, Rav HaShem, don't give me any trouble, please don't get me this virus. I'm busy doing Chesed for your children. That's a good thing to do. That's not Shar B'tochen, but I just wanted to say it because it's all just happened today, so it was in my mind. So there's something to think about. Apart from your exercises that I gave you for last night and your homework, so I hope you've done all three of them. I will be testing you on this. However, there is quite a serious thing that came into my mind today from our Shara B'tochen, which I felt we had to cover and we have to deal with, and it's very important. Remember, back to Shir Aleph, Shir 1 of this series, when I told you that the Kotzker Rebbe says a Jew has to believe in three things. You have to believe in HaShem. You have to believe in the Jewish people who will do the Chesed. And you have to believe in yourself. So we covered that. We dealt with that through our first year based on Shara B'tochen. And tonight I'm actually going to quote, if it doesn't sound extremely Gaividic, I'm going to quote my translation. But you'll see why in a second. It's not Gaiva at all. But basically, suppose you've covered all those bases. You do believe in HaShem. And you believe in Klal Yisrael. And you believe in yourself. Are you good to go? Or are you still going to be in trouble? And the answer is, you might be in trouble because you believe in Hashem. Pardon? You might be in trouble because you believe in Hashem. I know that sounds strange. Rav Shlomo Volba talks about this in Kelik Beis of Ali Shar. I think it's in page Nun Vov of Kelik Beis. You can look it up later. But there is solo pono derech pono is what's the word? I can't remember the positive. Remove the stumbling block me derech ami. In the derech of ami, Amuna and Hashem Yisborach, this could still be a stumbling block in there. Let's see what that is. Okay, so we come to really a very important point before we carry on, and that is a stumbling block in the road for people who are Ma'aminim, who believe in Hashem, believe in Klal Yisrael, believe in themselves. So I want to jump. We obviously, because when Osher suggested we should start this, we anticipated it being, I think, 2 weeks. Is that right, Osher? Was it 2 weeks we talked about, I think, initially? It is so fast evolving, I really don't know. And my wife, who's part of this, said, you're telling too many stories, just learn the Sefer, and maybe we should be doing that as well. I don't know. As you can see, I've been dipping into bits. But I do want to read to you the whole of chapter 1 tonight. And I know it's only 15 minutes that we have, but I'm going to read to you chapter 1. And the reason I wanted to use my book is because you can see it very clearly here. So this is my translation of Rosalie. Here's chapter 1. Oh, I'm sorry. I just dropped another Sefer. Wrong! And the place. Everything goes wrong sometimes. Here's chapter 1. Let's go and see how big chapter 1 is. Oh no, that is chapter 1. And that's bizarre. I mean, obviously, visually, it's bizarre. Chapter 1 is a paragraph. And how on earth? I mean, when Rebecca Bachia wrote this book, chapter 1 is a paragraph? The other chapters aren't paragraphs? So I couldn't, until I was preparing this today, it never struck me. So I'm very, very grateful to all of you for joining in this year and giving me the ability to rethink. And I wrote the translation of the book. Obviously, I worked very hard on this, and it never struck me before. Why is it just a paragraph? And the answer is that because what the paragraph says. There is echos and kamus. There is the echos, and there's the kamus. There's the amount of something. Sometimes you can write, pages and pages and pages. When I had the great zuchus of working for the BBC and broadcasting regularly almost every day, it was a fabulous education. You had to write English at the highest quality. You had to write scripts that millions of people would want to listen to, and you had to do it in 3.5 minutes. You had to learn the skill of saying something very important in a very short space of time. And sometimes you can be given, it's much harder to speak in 3.5 minutes than it is to speak for an hour or 30 minutes. You have to learn to put in 3.5 minutes something very special. And what if the thing is very special and you want to indicate that to it? In the whole of the book, there's only one chapter, which is a paragraph. So it's not the camus, it's the echos, it's the quality of what he's going to say. So I'm going to just read to you my translation here, which, funnily enough, is better than when I translated it before. So, strange. Okay, but listen to this. Chapter 1. The definition and nature of betochen, certainty, we've established that, is a state in which you enjoy total tranquility and freedom from worry, feeling complete security and confidence in the person you've invested your trust in. That would be good, wouldn't it? Like, you've given a job to somebody, you know he's going to do it. In our case, that, of course, is HaShem. You know that the person will do only that which is good and appropriate, and whatever you've appointed him to do, in this case, look after us. This is an addition to your knowledge and confidence about his abilities to accomplish what he sets out to do when he's acting on your behalf. The crucial element that wins your trust is that he will keep his word and fulfill what he promised to do. That's, as they say in Yiddish, still, that sentence again. The crucial element that wins your trust is that he will keep his word and fulfill what he promised to do. In addition to this essential condition, listen carefully, you have to feel that the person's very nature inclines him to act in this way, even for those towards he has no obligation, simply because of his innate kindness and altruism. Now, this is very, very important. So in my little insight, my little notes, my little parish at the bottom, I quote Rav Pinchas Lieberman, who in his commentary of the Chovos HaLevavos, which is called Lev Tov, he says, listen to this. Now, this is big. If a person does not believe that Hashem will help him even when he doesn't deserve it, That will create a nagging fear within him that he's no longer worthy of Hashem's promised help and intervention. In turn, that will drive him from his betochen in Hashem. That's what I talked about before. Your belief in Hashem can be the thing that destroys your connection to Hashem. Why? If you don't know you believe in him, but you don't realize that he's willing to help you, he will help you, wants to help you, even when you don't deserve it. You and I could be sitting here and saying, no, I've been, what, this is our 5th year. I've been through these 4 years. Yeah, I've checked all the boxes. I really do believe in Hashem, etc. Doesn't apply to me. No, because I'm such a bad person. I've done all sorts of terrible things. And of course he's going to help, but he's not going to help somebody like me. That's a very, very important idea. The Yetzer Hara sometimes gets to us, loosens our betochen in Hashem. Hashem will help us because we believe in him and then believe that we don't deserve his help. Is that idea ringing a bell with anybody? Do you ever feel that, of course Hashem's there, but I've blown it. I've let him down. I've insulted him. I've let him down so many times. Well, this idea, you can find, incidentally, repeated many times. It's addressed many times. In Rab Matas Yod's Sefer Matnas Chaim, on his parish on Tamer Devar. And Tamer Devar is another one of my favorites for him. And so again, in the first chapter, in the first Midah, when he goes through all the Midahs of Hashem Yisbarach, one of them is Mikel Kamakal, who is Hashem like you? Who's a God like you? I'm going to read a little bit of this to you. Mora al Yasakadosh Baruch Hu Melech Melech. What does that mean, who is a king like you? Who could compare as a king to you? Is some big philosophical idea about God creating the heavens, the Melech, Malchi, and Malachim? He says, no. He's an insulted king. He's willing to accept insult from people in a way that no other king, boss of Adam, a human king, would accept insult. You insult the king, it's off with your head. But Hashem accepts insult, failure, disappointment from us again and again and again, and doesn't react. In the hope that we will do teshuvah, we will feel sorry, we will sort ourselves out and return to him. You see, the Yetzer Hara is very, very keen to tell us that, you know what, you're hopeless and you keep letting Hashem down, and that's why you don't deserve his help. If you believe that, you're in big trouble. Did I ever tell you the story about the girl with stomach cancer? No? Somebody know it? No? Good, okay. When I was teaching in the seminary in Manchester many years ago, I used to have a little surgery for girls to come with problems. And there was a knock on the door, and a girl came in, French girl. I used to speak French, forgotten all my French. And she sat opposite me, and she was looking very, very upset and very sad. And she was looking upset because I said, what's going on? And she said she had stomach cancer. And I was shocked. Stomach cancer is not a good cancer to get. I was shocked. Stomach cancer? Oui. And then a bell rang in my head. Something wrong with this scenario. Why is she sitting in a seminary telling a rabbi that she's got stomach cancer? Why isn't she in a hospital telling doctors about this? So I scratched my head and I said, have you been to a doctor? No. Pourquoi pas? Why not? Stomach cancer. She doesn't need to go to the doctor. She knows it's stomach cancer. How do you know you got stomach cancer? Because she gets pains in the stomach. Well, I have to tell you, sometimes I get pains in the stomach. I suffer from acid indigestion, and I sometimes get very bad pains in the stomach. But I don't immediately think the worst things. So why? So it turned out the girl was a Rosh Yeshiva's daughter. She had been home, Bein Azmanim, in Yerushalayim, where she came from. French family moved there. She had been standing at a bus stop one day, and there was a young man standing beside her, Yeshiva Bocher, and he spoke to her. And she answered him. She answered him. Stomach cancer. Now, they didn't exchange telephone numbers. She never met him again, knew what his name was, that was it. But because she'd spoken to the boy at the bus stop, Yisgadal v'Yisgadash. So I smiled and I said, haven't we been learning Mesilas Yesharim? Yes. And doesn't Mesilas Yesharim say that Hashem can forgive everything? even murder, even adultery. These are serious things. After all, if it's murder, you have taken somebody who should be here in the world to a different place. Remove them from the planet. If, God forbid, you've committed adultery, there's a strong possibility you've brought somebody who shouldn't be here on the planet to the world. And Hashem can forgive both those. So I kind of think he might forgive the fact that you answered the boy at the bus stop. I'd love to tell you she danced out there, happy as can be, but she would still look pretty sad. But the point is that Hashem can forgive everything. The Yetzer Hara doesn't like you to think so. So this is what the Ramban says. The Ramban says in the beginning of the Seder of Bamidbar, when it says that the Jewish people in Bamidbar, and then Hashem says to Moshe, Sa'u, or well, literally it's translated as counting, which is why the non-Jewish people call the book Numbers. But Sa'u, Shin Aleph Vav, really means to elevate. Sa'u. But Rashi says the Ramban translates it differently, because Su can also mean to execute, to cut off somebody's head. Remember the Shara Oifim and the Sarah Mashkim when Yosef gives the interpretation of the dreams? He says to the Sar Mashkim, Hashem's going to take you back 3 days from now and elevate you, lift you up to your previous position. Nice. Sarah Oifim, the baker, says, and me, here's the dream. Oh, Hashem's going to take you 3 days from now, and Yisa, lift your head from its normal location. Yiskadav, Yiskadash. So the word Sa'u can mean to elevate or to execute. And Rashi says, what does it mean? Kamosha Oma the Kustener, as you would say to the Kustener, the executioner, cut off his head. The Ramban says, why does Rashi bring that shot? You can say a nice translation. It means to elevate you. The counting of Klal Yisrael is an elevation. Why does it say as though you would execute them? So the Ksaf Sefer in his Perish Chumash says something which is absolutely brilliant. Listen to this. This is so important. And now we go back to what we said before. The Ksaf Sefer says that when the Jewish people send in Meraglim, right? So they come to say from Bamidbar, the sending in of the spies. They send in spies to spy at the land of Israel, and of course they bring a damning report. Why did they send in spies? What did they need to see? Hashem promised it to Avram and to Yitzchak and Yaakov. He promised it to Moshe. He promised it to them. It's going to be a good land. Hashem's not going to give a schmatted place. He's not going to give, England to anybody. It's going to be Eretz Yisrael, something nice. So why do you need to send in spies? And the best of the spies, and they bring back a bad report. So the Ksav Sefer says something brilliant. It's not from one moment that they doubted. In fact, when I prepared this before, I underlined this, which when I originally used to teach this, I didn't underline it. Listen to this, I'll read this to you. You should learn about these people. Zuchus, the spies who brought back a bad report and who wanted to send in spies, give them a zchus. Shalo also mishum, shalo hamino. Not that he didn't believe in Hashem, that he could take them in and give them the land of Israel. They were Ma'aminim, of course they believed in Hashem. They'd gone through the Yam Suf. It's not that they didn't believe Hashem could. They didn't believe Hashem would. Why not? He promised it to you. Yeah, but something happened. What happened? We made the Eglah off. We made the golden calf. We don't deserve Hashem to help us. And when Hashem counted them, that, as Rashi says, is two shotim in Rashi. Oh, incidentally, that Rashi, the Rambam quotes, we don't have in our Rashi. So in his version, he did have it. So you could say, it's a nice thing. But the Ramban says that other edition of Rashi, which says, he will say to the executioner, cut off their heads. Because when Hashem, as Rashi does say in our version, he counts them like a collector takes his coins, going through each and one of his coins over and over again, because he loves and values each one. When you're counted as an expression of love. That was Hashem saying, I love you and I forgive you for what you did wrong. They didn't get it. So is that going to make it worse if they bring back a bad report? Or better? Much worse. Because he showed them, I love you. I'm on your side. So believing in Hashem, if you don't believe, as the Chavos Lava says, that he's going to be on your side and help you, even when you don't think you deserve it, because his nature is to help us and be on our side, then that will lead us to completely lose our trust and faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So that's very important. So everything we've learned till now, if you can check the boxes and you feel good about this, and you feel good about yourself, and you feel, yes, I do believe in HaShem, and I believe in God's Israel, I even believe in myself. But I did this. Maybe I can't trust HaShem, because why should HaShem help me? Because I've done things wrong, and I've let him down, and I've not done this, and I have done that. You've got to know, says the Sharper talking, just one whole chapter to say in one tiny paragraph this important thing. It's so important. Don't let the Yitzhara get to you and say that you failed. Don't let the Yitzhara get to you and say that, yeah, you could have got it, but he's not going to do it for you. HaShem wants to do it for us. Let's carry on in our share, building our relationship with HaShem and building our understanding of that connection, that betochen, building our certainty in him. And don't let the Yitzhara tell you've done something so wrong in the past, or now, or recently, or you didn't have sufficient sincerity this morning, and even though people are dying, your mind was elsewhere in the Shemona Esra. That's the Yitzhara talking. Hashem wants to help. You just have to make sure you're playing your part, and don't be put off that part by the Yitzhara telling that you're not up to it. You are. I'll see you tomorrow night.